Get ready to create leg day with a noodle in this 20-minute pool workout. In the first half of this video, we'll be placing the noodle under one or both feet for buoyant resistance. If you need more resistance, you can use a larger noodle, or you can use two noodles if your feet are big enough. And special note, stepping on a noodle with 2 feet is for more advanced fitness participants. In the second half of this video, we'll be placing the noodle behind the upper back for neutral buoyancy so we can change our body position to hammer the legs in different positions with 3 super circuits that were designed to burn those leg muscles out. Whether you exercise with this or you teach it in your classes, I think you'll enjoy this leg day challenge. Welcome to Leg Day in the Pool. In this segment, we'll be placing one or both feet on the noodle. If you do this in shallow water, it is better to be in a little bit deeper. I'll be drifting back and forth from shallow to deep water. Therefore, I'm wearing a flotation belt because it is recommended in deep water. I am using a regular noodle for filming purposes. You can use a larger, denser noodle, or you can step or stand on 2 noodles if your feet are large enough. Read the blog because I put a lot of this information in there. Yes, every video has a blog to provide extra tips and education. I hope you read them. Now let's get on the noodle with both feet evened out and start pressing down, down, up, and up. Press it down, down, up. These are your noodle squats. As you press down, you're working quadriceps, you're working glutes, and you're working hamstrings. Nice and controlled. Down for 2, up for 2. Down, down, up, and up. Keeping it nice and controlled with your noodle squats. Get ready to pick up the tempo. Okay, pick it up. Press down, press down, press down. Think of squeezing those upper thighs, those leg muscles as you press down with these squats. Buoyant resistance, the effort is down. So as you press down, you've got that resisted hamstring, quad, and glute. Now I'm pulsing. You can pulse this if you want, or just stay with that same cadence. Now we're doing alternating knee lifts on that noodle. I call this a Stairmaster, kind of like in the gyms when you see those stair stepper machines. So alternating knee lifts, pressing down. Same muscles activating the quads, the glutes, and the hamstrings. As you press down, that's the resistance. Now, if you wish, you could go faster for 30 seconds or just stay with the same cadence you were at. That's up to you. This is a little pulse, a little push, picking up that speed. You can be in shallow water closer to the floor or in deep water like I am right now. I'll kind of go back and forth to where feet are touching. We're going to be going into the one-footed movements here. Now, basically, get back so you have your 1 foot down, your right foot is on the noodle, pressing down, down, up, and up. That right foot presses down, down, up, and up. Down, down. So this is your single leg press. I call them lunges. You've got those same muscles pressing down. Now, I came off the floor to go into deep water to show you what it looks like. You can absolutely do this in deeper. You can do this in shallow. Nice. Just pressing that noodle down for that resistance. Now I've got a more forceful push down. Push down. You can see my non-noodle leg is doing a leg curl to kind of get out of the way there. But that also works the hamstring on the other side, so you could do that if you wish. Pressing down for that buoyant resistance on those quads, hamstrings, and glutes. The upward phase is the assisted phase, so we try to control it. Again, that noodle's under the right foot. Now we're going to put that right leg extended out in front of us and pull the straight leg down, down, up with control. Pulling down, down. That leg is extended now. It's not bent anymore. So there's touching. Now you can see if I go deep, if you're in deep water, you're going to kind of morph into a cross-country ski. It is super hard to keep that non-noodle leg, the supporting leg, straight down in deep water, so it does morph into a ski, but you're still pulling that noodle leg down for the hamstring. Hip extension targets the glutes and the hamstring. The first two moves we did, the lunge and this noodle pull down, feature hip extension. You could see with the foot touching, I can get a little more range of motion on that leg pull down, and I don't have to force that other leg back. So it's up to you. I want to show you both the deep and the shallow, the slight nuances and modifications. Now we're going to change, take that noodle leg out to the side of you, out to the right of you, and then pull it inward, inward, and then let it float back up easily. Inward, inward, control it back up. Now I've got my foot touching right now. You can see what happens when I'm not touching. That supporting leg morphs into a jumping jack. Just like in the other example, when we were going front to back, we morphed into a ski. It's impossible to hold that supporting leg straight under you if you're in deep water, but that's okay. You're still pulling in with that noodle leg, working your inner thighs. Now you can do it a little bit more forcefully. Really squeeze in. Squeeze in. So again, in deep water, it morphed into a jack. I'm going to go back to a touching so you can see it touching. If you're touching, you can get a little bit more range of motion on that noodle leg as you pull it in for the inner thigh. Again, that downward resistance targeting the hip adductors. Okay, now I'm going to go back to 2 feet on the noodle, and we're going to repeat everything we did before, and the one-legged moves will be on the left leg. So get your knees up into a squat. Get that up and then press down, down, and then up, up. So you're pressing down, down, up. We're back to squats with both feet on the noodle. Now remember, I labeled this video as advanced because when you place both feet on the noodle, my goodness, it takes a lot of coordination to stay on there. And that noodle being way down, if it gets out from under your feet, it can shoot up out of the surface. So you got to be careful of that. Really try to make sure you're on it good. Now more forceful squats. Press down and up, press down and up. Now, if you choose, you can stay there or you can go into a little pulse, a little tiny pulse on those leg muscles, those thigh muscles. Preparing to go into the next move, which was alternating knee lifts. Remember, we call this the Stairmaster. Again, this takes coordination, so that's why this video is labeled advanced. It's very easy for that noodle to get out from under you. I practiced the day before with brand new noodles from the dollar store, and it was a disaster because the new noodles had kind of a lubricant on them. So be advised, if you just bought a noodle, it could be a little bit slippery. Now, if you want with that Stairmaster, you could take it to a faster cadence, or you could stay at the cadence you prefer. Little pumps, 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 pumps. And again, you can use a denser noodle. If you can find those denser noodles, it's much harder. Now we're getting ready to go into single leg moves. This time the single leg will be the left leg will be on the noodle. So if you want, put that left leg, even that noodle out under the left foot, lift it up, and then we're pushing down, down, and up, up with those single leg presses or lunges. Left leg is pressing down, down, up and up. Pressing down, down, up and up. Nice. And again, you can see with the lunges, the bent knee, it's a little easier to keep that supporting leg under you. Now, if you want to do a more forceful squeeze on that glute, remember that's hip extension targeting that glute, bent knee hip extension. The hip flexors don't get loaded at all because we're working buoyant resistance. Really squeezing down. You can do a leg curl on that supporting leg if you want to. A little hamstring of its own over there. Now, if you recall, the next move, we're going to have to extend that left leg straight out in front, and then we pull it down, down, up, and up. So now we've still got hip extension, but it's straight leg hip extension, introducing a little bit more hamstring into this with that. And just remember, if you're doing this in deep water, it's impossible to keep that supporting leg straight underneath you. It's going to morph into a ski type movement as that supporting leg goes behind you. That's okay. You're still pulling that buoyant resistance downward with your hamstring. If you want to go into more forceful pulls, you can go into more forceful pulls. Honestly, I think, personally for myself, I think it's best to be in kind of deep, shallow water where you're still touching a little bit. With a little bit of anchoring, I think you can get a little bit more range of motion on that, but it works, again, in both depths. Now, you remember the last move, we take that leg out to the side. The left leg is out to the side, and then we pull it in, out. As you perform hip adduction in, that's the resisted movement. Hip abduction out is the assisted movement. And as you pull in, that's your inner thigh being targeted with hip adduction. Once again, if you're not touching, if you're in deep water, it's going to be impossible to keep that supporting leg under you, so it morphs into a little bit of a jack type movement. So if you can touch, my suggestion is maybe touch a little bit to get more range of motion, but it works either way. Finishing up on that inner thigh. You should be feeling that. Okay, that concludes 10 minutes of leg exercises using buoyant resistance. I hope you felt that. If not, try a denser noodle or try using 2 noodles under your foot if your foot is big enough. But don't go away. We're not done yet. Okay, place the noodle behind your back and under your armpits. We are now going to do 3 supersets to burn out the legs. The first exercise is a seated knee extension. So get into a seated position and alternate knee extensions. Alternate leg extensions. Movement from the knee as you extend out. As you extend outward, that's the quadricep. As you pull the heel inward, that's the hamstring. So again, these are supersets. Each exercise is working 2 sets of muscles because we're no longer doing buoyant resistance. So this is your quadricep and your hamstring with those knee extensions. Now pick up the pace and smoke out those legs with that seated knee extension. Try to go out, and faster. Really working those, trying to burn this out at a faster pace with those leg or knee extensions. Once again, quadriceps on the way out, hamstrings as you pull the heel back in. You should be feeling that little smoke and fire in those upper thighs and behind the leg. Okay, now go straight down and do alternating leg curls. Now you're vertical, and whether you're touching or not touching, and you're doing alternating high heel lifts. So this is the same muscle group. It's the same thing because it's movement at the knee joint. So as the heel comes behind, it's the hamstring. As your toe comes down, it's the quadriceps. So please put your focus on those muscles. It's the same muscles as the previous exercise. Now, this is the final 30 seconds. We're going to burn it out. Go fast on those leg curls. Really try to whip that heel behind and push that toe down to maximize the quadricep and hamstring recruitment here. The last 15 seconds is coming up. This is it. Burn it out. Burn it out. You should feel that in the front of your thighs and in the back of your thighs. We're finishing out this first superset. Okay, now we're going into a reclined position and doing alternating leg pull downs. From a reclined position, pull those straight legs downward with force. If you pull them downward with force, the emphasis is on hip extension, and that will put the emphasis on the hamstrings and the glutes. Now you're still getting some quadricep and hip flexor because you have to lift up in the resistance of water, but if you put more force on the way down, you get more hamstring and glute. Now get ready, we're going to adjust our body position. Now go into an inclined position with your legs behind you, and now do alternating straight leg lifts with the emphasis once again on that toe now pushing forward, bringing your leg forward as hard as you can with less emphasis on the way back. By doing this, we put more of the emphasis now on the quadriceps and the hip flexors in that inclined position, really forcing the legs downward from the inclined position, putting the load on the front of the legs. Okay, now back to reclined position and force those heels downward. We're back to hamstrings and glutes. This superset targets hamstrings and glutes and quadriceps and hip flexors. This is coming up to your last 15 seconds on hamstrings and glutes. Make it count. This is it. Really make it matter. Really pull those legs downward with force. You should be feeling this. Okay, back to inclined position. Get those legs behind you and do straight leg lifts, but the emphasis is on the toe, really pushing forward to put the emphasis on the front of the leg, the quadricep and the hip flexor. Think about that. Put your focus on those muscles. Coming into the last 15 minutes of all out pushing forward to smoke up the front of those thighs. Now come into a seated position wide and then squeeze in. From a seated position, you're doing straddle legs, but you're squeezing your heels in, pushing out. Squeeze your heels in. By forcing the emphasis on squeezing in, that's your inner thigh. Really squeeze in. Now go faster. Squeeze in, squeeze in, squeeze in. Think about touching your heels together and getting them in. That hip adduction emphasis is the inner thigh, and you should feel that. Now we're going to take the inner thigh vertical, come down vertical, and then from vertical, squeeze in with force and click those heels together. In with force and click those heels together. Emphasis on inner thigh, and you should definitely feel that. Now go fast, last 15 seconds, smoke them out. Smoke out those inner thighs, really click those heels together, really working. Last 8 seconds. In 4, 3, come up to a seated position and now force your legs outward. You're not clicking your heels together now. You're thinking of pushing out. You're thinking of squeezing out with your outer thigh. Gluteus medius, gluteus minimus, your outer thigh muscles, hip abductors working here. Now from that seated position, go faster. Push out, out, pulse it out. Again, you don't have to go all the way in because the emphasis is on the outward movement to work the outer thighs. And you should feel that difference between the two. Now bring it down to vertical and force those legs out. You don't have to bring the heels together. Remember, we're focused on going out so the heels don't have to come together. Squeeze out using your outer thigh muscles. Coming into the last 15 seconds, let's pulse it out. Pulse out that outer thigh. Working hard here. Pulsing. You should feel that. Oh my, I can feel that, I know that. Whew, boy, much needed break here. We're gonna go into a quick stretch so I could tutor you through some stretches in case you wanna do more on your own. We're gonna start stretching the right leg by just reaching for that right foot or ankle and then bringing the leg behind us in a dancer pose. Now, if you don't have the flexibility to hold onto your foot or ankle, just take that foot behind you and open up your quadricep. This is a quadricep stretch. And then if you extend that right leg straight behind you and let the buoyancy take your toe up, that's your hip flexor stretch, the upper part of your front thigh. So far we've done a quad stretch. Now this is a hip flexor stretch. Now take that right leg in front of you and let the buoyancy lift that heel up as high as it'll go. This is your hamstring stretch. Obviously we get a little glute here too, but the emphasis is on hamstrings with that leg extended in front of you. Cross that right leg over the left leg, and that's your cradle stretch, working your outer thigh and your glutes. That always feels good. We're just going through every muscle group we worked in this leg day workout. Now go into a wide straddle, seated wide straddle. That's your inner thigh stretch. If you were sitting on a mat, that would look familiar, that straddle stretch for the inner thighs. Now we're going to move into the left leg, so go to the left dancer first. You can reach for the ankle or the back of the foot, or you don't have to, but get that bent leg behind you in a dancer stretch for the quadricep stretch on the left side. And then extend that left leg straight behind you. Let the buoyancy take that leg up, and that's your hip flexor stretch, the top part of your front thigh on the left side. Now extend that left leg straight in front of you for the hamstring stretch on the left leg. Now cradle that left leg over the right for your little figure 4 stretch. That's your stretch for your glutes and your outer thigh. And then go into your wide straddle stretch for your inner thigh. Get those legs pulled apart as much as you can to stretch that inner thigh. And that concludes leg day. Feel free to take more time to do the stretches we just finished with. I hope you enjoyed this workout. And if you are enjoying PullFit workouts, can you please, pretty please, leave a review on the app or Play Store. Reviews or a lack thereof can make or break a small business like ours. I sure hope you will consider helping us get more customers with your nice review.